For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is...
Those things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work, or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
We continue to focus on those developments in the country that certainly is warranted our attention, and also as a result of this, hoping that the authorities, whoever is responsible, will attend to those issues and raising your consciousness as well as a people. No doubt you'll be making your own contribution to the discussion when you call at 452-2979. That's 452-2979, along with your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room in just a moment, so hope you have already started the discussion, and no doubt you'll be having some very positive things to report on during the course of our program. And also, you being cynical people as well, you don't want to make your observations. So we're not putting any label on your contributions. We're not saying it must be positive or it has to be negative. We just want you to share your point of view with us on the various events that are happening in St. Lucia and the observations that you continue to make. The island recorded a homicide on Friday. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia has been given the assurance that the St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project will be completed. A notice from KFC and also a whole lot more during the course of the program between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon. The island recorded a homicide, and that is on Friday. Gruesome incident occurring just adjacent to the Miku police station. And it involved a 48-year-old male who sustained a blow to the neck. Some people say he was decapitated. I don't think the individual was, but just a little short of that actually occurring. And of course, social media being what it is, it had a lot of videos, a lot of photographs in circulation. And one can only imagine what the relatives of this individual went through, and that is Vern Joseph, sustaining a chop to the neck Friday adjacent to the Miku police station. And according to media reports, he was waiting for his girlfriend when the incident occurred, and one man is assisting police with their investigation. So again, more pain is being brought to another group of family members in this country, and we just have to shake our heads in disbelief. Yes, we do so, but we should have seen this coming. This has been on the horizon for a very long time now. We have demonstrated as a people that as much as we are deemed to be a friendly set of people, friendly, or St. Lucians are so friendly, but we are quickly being seen as people who are very violent. We have a tendency to be very, very violent. And I know that the authorities, if they have their way, we would not be reporting on such incidents, we would not be making reference to the location of such incidents because of the impression that it conveys, and as a result of this, the reputation that we are quickly acquiring. And you can certainly lump us with a number of countries in the Caribbean right now. And it's not a case of stigmatizing any country, but we've for a long time now made the observation about Trinidad and Tobago, very violent country, Jamaica being a very violent country, and of course we have the statistics to back this up. And in the case of St. Lucia, we have the stats as well. We have over several years been complaining about gun crimes in our country, and so many people being gunned down, so many people suffering gunshot injuries and wounds and so on. But also what is developing is so many people are being stabbed. Number of people, the latest, being hacked to death. The number of fights that people are getting involved in for one reason or the other. And this is not something that is you can associate with any one community in St. Lucia, as we often did. We had reason to do so. Now this thing is widespread. Various parts of St. Lucia reporting homicide after homicide, endless chopping incidents, people being injured as a result of this. We know that the health sector is being overwhelmed, and you could only imagine what emergency responders are going through, law enforcement personnel are going through, medical personnel as well at our various health institutions. So we are grappling with a lot. And this should have us so engaged that we'll not have time to focus on petty stuff. But somehow, those who are in authority, those who should be preoccupied with coming up with various solutions, I don't know, they find a time to waffle and to dabble in so many things that a family was just lost a sibling or friend, etc., would find insignificant. It has no bearing on them. A lot of the discussions that are taking place, especially of a political nature. We are in a lot of trouble, and we need to come to that realization. The realization that time is not on our side. We cannot bide our time anymore. We cannot waste time hoping that somehow as a result of this, somehow the problems that we are experiencing on a daily basis, those problems will just evaporate. It certainly will take a lot of hard work on the entire nation, and of course, being led by individuals who care about the people. Because no longer are we in this era when we can boldly and honestly say that a crop of politicians that we have right now, in the majority, in the main, that they care about people. It's not people-centric. Could hardly point or highlight or focus on one politician who really and genuinely, and that is being exhibited through his or her actions, their utterances, their behavior, and so on, that they truly care about the people. Because most of those politicians, it is all about themselves, what they can get as a result of being an MP, as a result of being a government minister. So as a result of this, instead of putting the people first, they end up looking after their own interests. And this feeling was expressed on Friday during our NewsSpin program when we heard from an animated female caller to the broadcast.
We have had people running St. Lucia without a feel of what we want as a nation. I think the issue here is the people. We are the issue, you know, because we vote for those people and we run on a mandate that they give to us. And when they get into power, this mandate is no longer, this manifesto, whatever they call it, is no longer on the table. And we the people, we stay there and we take it. But as a St. Lucian, we need to know that we have our rights. And this is why we St. Lucians today need to take the time to educate ourselves. Because we cannot just allow persons to come here, inherit a salary that we work hard for, and do what they want at their whim and fancy. See, let me tell you something. It hurts my heart to see that the young people have no sort of engagement in this country. I mean, I am speaking here, and all I want to do is, I can't wait for the day when I can just do something for the young people. You go by the cinema on a Saturday and you have to ask yourself, who is catering for these children? So where are the ministers? Where are the prime ministers? These people don't know what's going on. These people are all about all of them. I'm not even going to label, because once you get there, you forget why you are there. And I haven't seen a prime minister, neither a leader, who is actually about the people. Now, let me tell you something. Politics is not something people just go in, you know. Politics is a calling.
Yeah.
You see, like a pastorship, you see, like a teacher, these things are callings. Not anybody can be a politician. And the fact is, we have a lot of persons who inherit this position because my mother was one, because I'm popular, because I have money, because I got a PhD. All of those things are not criteria to be a politician. To be a politician, you have to be a people-caring person. You have to be somebody who wants to make a difference in your community. You have to think about people. And that is the criteria. You see all of those persons who go and get their degree and learn political science, that's not working in St. Lucia. It's not political science, it's people science. Knowing about your people, knowing what the country needs. And I'm not impressed.
Contribution made during last Friday's NewsSpin broadcast. Good afternoon to you, Kimani, and hope you had yourself a good weekend and you're all set for a positive work week, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Tim. I did have a good weekend. I'm not sure about being all set for this work week, though.
Why, you tired?
Very much so.
You did too much over the weekend. So the bandits are getting a lot more brazen. I mean, in the early hours, according to media reports of today, bandits attacked Massey's Stores supermarket in Lafargue, Choiseul, and made off with several items, including an ATM. And the initial reports indicate that 4 bandits were involved in the incident at about 2 a.m., and several individuals are assisting the police with the investigations. And there we go again with more crimes occurring in our country, and the bandits are getting bolder and bolder and bolder, while those people who are in authority are being distracted by things that are of little significance to most of us. But anyway, in the chat room, what's taking place there? While you open the lines at 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026.
Someone says, good hot sun day to all. And I can relate because it is burning hot outside. Another comment in the chat room. Good afternoon. I lost one of my siblings today. Condolences. He continued, my parents' 7th child is gone. The first of 12 of us to depart this earth. Difficult, difficult, difficult. And I believe this contribution was from Nigel Toussaint. Again, my condolences. Another comment in the chat room. Someone says, let's see, Jamaica and Trinidad has been quiet, and per capita, we are way ahead of them in terms of the murder rate. In fact, I think we have taken the place of #1 in the world.
We have our first call on line. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Bon après-midi, Monsieur Tim.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Et puis, bon après-midi pour Kimani.
Good afternoon.
Tim, ça c'est un club chair pour Jean Seplissi électé un gouvernement pour changement. Et puis, depuis le gouvernement entré, il dit que c'est pas rien, il s'est fait pour crime parce qu'il dit juste entré. Et depuis le bas parti dit au élection, crime qu'a pris un pays Seplissi sans doute, ces criminels là, crime là en la meilleur, ils ont fait ça, ils veulent, manière, ils veulent. Except ici, ni au gouvernement. Au lieu pour le gouvernement adresser nation et dit qui ça qu'il fait pour crime, qui ça qu'il met en place, juste non so John Compton qui jamais Philippe J. Pierre Carlemon dans son meeting Nico. Alors moi créer à sous Philippe J. Pierre souple. Créer une élection souple, résigner position souple. Je sais qu'ici a parlé pour l'autre élection. Ça c'est parole ça la mauvaise by Philippe J. Pierre.
Okay, merci tout bonnement. 452-2979. Once again, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. We have another call in line. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim, you know I still have a problem with the roads in St. Lucia. And the problem I have in Tim, even when you go into Gara now, the road's so bad. You can't even drive the way you want to drive. Tim, a friend of mine just put some shocks on his car. Honestly speaking, there's certain areas, you know, that does not have good lighting and stuff. And when it's raining, you don't know if there is a hole or whatever it is. And the man went down in that hole, Tim. And it cost him thousands of dollars right now to repair his vehicle. And Tim, we have a representative in the name of, I'm using the word Dr. Virginia Albert because they like the name doctor. And you're telling me this woman been elected by the people of Babono. And the bogus road is bad. And you have farmers, you know. Farmers investing big time, not only on the farm, but now they're investing in vehicles, Tim. And the vehicle costs money. And you're telling me the chop that passed just before, I think, getting into the hurricane season. You remember the chop that we had there and it messed up the farming industry, Tim?
Mm-hmm. Tropical Storm Brett.
Right. Yeah. Storm Brett. You're telling me right now, Tim, and you know that too, Tim. I don't know how long you went to the Castries market on a Saturday. There's nothing happening there, you know, Tim. You can get plantain, hardly get green banana.
And if you get any, you're being charged $10 for about, what, 5 grains of plantain?
Yes, Tim, because a friend of mine just came back from the States. And last week he was telling me, you know, if I could grant him a favor, you know, trying to get him some plantain. Apparently he wanted to do some bouillon and stuff, green plantain. Tim, I beat, and I finally get a vendor with some, how they call it, the plantain. And fudge up the plantain. The plantain look like it's in misery. And the woman tell me 5 grains of plantain for $10. And you're telling me, Tim, They're bragging about they get a loan for $75 million, you know, and they're not investing in agriculture. The same government that did not like tourism, you know, now they want to embrace tourism. And you're telling me $75 million. The storm break gives St. Lucia a beating. Up to now, the farmers cannot get money to plant food to feed its own people. Virginia Albert, I'm sending that signal for you. Babono is an agricultural area. The farmers need help. The farmers need help. That little money I hear you all want to give them $200-300, that's not going to help. Because some of the farmers have 6-7 people on a farm. And if right now you have to go back and plant in, you think you just get a group of fellas and they just take a seed and just put into the soil? You need to plow that. No, they does not have machine. What you need now is manpower. And to get the manpower, you need to pay those people to come and plow the land for you. So Virginia Albert, as minister for whatever you're in, that is your constituency. Ask the Prime Minister to give the farmers money so they could go back and plant to feed the nation. Y'all wanted power. Y'all get power and y'all cannot perform. If y'all cannot get perform, just step aside and bring people that could push the country forward so we could get our food on the way. And not only selling for our very own people, we could even sell food overseas to sell. So the farmers now could make a little more money. You're not helping the farmers. Give the farmers the soulagement. Tim, do you know, when you have a farm in Bogies or anywhere, you need water? You know about that, right?
Yes, yeah.
You still have to go and buy gas at the pumps. That's another $150 again. So you see across the board, these people taking pluck. You talk about the fishermen. Where are you going to take out the $150 on the gas of the fishermen? Today, the fishermen are suffering. Now, the Minister for Agriculture, you representing Denry. You're not doing nothing for Denry. The fishermen right now are crying. Nothing is happening. You're not doing nothing for the people. When the people speak to you, you want to get back to the people. If you cannot do the job, brother, just step aside. Because when the election was close, you were going house to house, knocking the door. You know, even some sick people that could even walk, they tell you, well, I don't know how I'll be able to make it to the polling station. You would get a stretcher, you would get a wheelchair, and you make sure that people went in the polling station to vote you. And now you don't care about people, and you'll have how many more years to go? Well, Tim, with all what had happened in there, I am telling you, we always say in St. Lucia finished. We gone, man. We gone. I believe right now St. Lucia should fly a white flag. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Somebody is reporting an incident which occurred, I think it was over the weekend. I don't know, Kimani, if you saw the video of some young men from a part of Castries, and they were in some kind of contest, a violent contest, throwing bottles at each other and stones, and this looked very, very scary. So the person says that between the graveyard, Chaussee Road, Marsha, there was war going on among those little boys. I'm waiting for one of them to damage my property. It's time for examples to be set in Castries. We have a call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim, good afternoon.
Hi. Okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, not too bad. Why we are having a Minister of Agriculture in the country, Tim? You know?
You tell me, sir.
Because I guess if you have a Minister of Agriculture, the other thing I want to say is that a Minister of Agriculture is supposed to be getting more than a price of just an MP. So if you have a Minister of Agriculture, it's to look after agriculture of farmers, because we're not selling banana to the UK for sure. But at least I was told bananas have been sold in the Caribbean, Trinidad, Dominican Republic, and some of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose of the Minister of Agriculture is not just bananas, to look after agriculture and see that everything that is coming under the belt of agriculture to be taken care of. Am I right?
Yeah.
But if that cannot happen, because the amount of complaints we have had, persons with tomato, with this, with, and they cannot nail on, they cannot sell it anywhere, they cannot get this anywhere. I don't know why we have a Minister of Agriculture. I mean, that's just how I see it. But coming back to the crime situation, that's not going to stop, my brother. Very sorry to make that statement. It will continue. I said the last time, told the PM to try something different. Try something different. And then you might say, what is trying different? Because everywhere has crime. But sir, please, try a little more on construction industry, such as some of the projects. You know, I'm not saying you can go back and do all. Some of those projects that was taking place with the previous administration, try and see if you can get one or two open. Try. I know they are building a big tower team. I told you about that right now by the airport. They're building a huge tower. They say the one there was in a bad state. So the Taiwanese are building a big, if you did not know, the Taiwanese are building a big new tower in Beaufort there right nowadays. The very same site where the new air terminal was supposed to be taking place. And that project was stopped. And then you have so many, which I have said over and over, the Kozile Highway, which would have been ideal, modern, you know, I mean, you have the sidewalks was already there for tourists and visitors. If we say we are focusing on tourism, get some of these projects continue, because it would have been do two things: employment for sure, and then government would have collected income tax, you know, some sort of revenue from this project. The supermarket business person, something would have happened. But when you have all of those projects stop, what you expecting the young people to do? What you expecting them to do? The police, I'm sorry for you all. The hands of the police right now, it tied, I know for sure, but it will come more. These days, the police cannot even take report team if somebody threaten, if somebody fighting.
Yeah, the police officers right now are overwhelmed. And I think right now we have too few police officers. We need a little more. We need at least another 300 police officers, so that the other police officers who have been on duty for over several years now and who have been having to respond to so many violent crime incidents in the country, that they could get some kind of reprieve, some kind of break, you know. But 1,200 police officers, certainly that is not sufficient for a country that is grappling with so many criminals or crimes.
Because, Tim, you well said, I felt that since crime was so, rapid, especially in St. Lucia now, the level of security would have been, I believe strongly we should have some 2,000 police officers. The last time I said something, I said that country need a small army. Somebody took me on and said, oh, how we paying for army? How we paying for this? But when we want money for election to do other things, we go into parliament and borrow. So why we cannot have a small defense force like Antigua and Barbuda? You know, maybe 400 persons in it. If things go, because right now things are just going out of hand. In everybody's a law by themselves. Tim, you never step outside to be among the public to see how fellas behave.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
It's like
people are on edge. You know, people are on edge, and they're not afraid of the consequences of their actions, because maybe they believe in the first place they will not be caught. They're comfortable because, for example, there's so few police officers on the streets, on the beat, on patrol. And maybe we can't blame the police on every occasion for this, because they are just stretched thin. No matter how many vehicles that they give the police, if there isn't a sufficient number of police officers to man the police stations and to go on patrols and to drive those vehicles, then it really does not amount to anything that can be effectively done to curb or control the crime problem in this country. People don't expect the crime to stop, all of a sudden. People want you to manage the crime situation, because I hear some people saying, we have crime over there, we have crime everywhere, we have crime in the U.S., but you want to manage that problem. But it appears now that we are so overwhelmed, there isn't much that we can do to ensure that St. Lucia remains a peaceful country, a country whose reputation will not be dragged through the mud. Because, our reputation is the pitons, our reputation is 2 Nobel laureates. We boast about that a lot. but we are gaining notoriety when it comes to the criminal acts that are occurring in this country almost on a daily basis.
Yeah, well said. Briefly, I told you last week the situation in the Mikud police station. Again, if any police officer would hear me, at least if they want to speak on this, the manpower in that station is not enough for that police station to secure or to patrol two constituencies, two big constituencies. That's too much for them. Look, there was that incident in Mikud where the guy his throat whatever was slashed with a cutlass.
Mm-hmm.
And I am saying, and like I said, if you go to the station right now, it's a challenge. Maybe 3 or 4 persons on duty at that station. And that police station have a lot of terrain to cover. The officers have to cover a lot of place. And that is not good. That is not how at the time of crisis what we have there to have security so lacking. As though anybody, madman, can just sit and just go badly and just open fire anywhere. Not even care if these other fellas don't even care whether the police there or not. As though the fellas more want the police to be there to commit a crime in front of them. I mean, you see how we become? How that in a twinkling of an eye, everything is breakdown in St. Lucia, from law and order to the rule of law. Politicians even doing it the worst, interfere with the judiciary of this country, making things look more scary for law-abiding citizens. Pretty soon, Tim, every household will arm themselves, whether they get a license for it or not. Everybody will just arm and waiting for something to happen. It's very scary out there. It's like a nightmare. It's like you're watching St. Lucia in a movie. Tim, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much. Kimani, in the chat room, what's happening?
Someone in the chat room says, Tim, this is not the first time an ATM was stolen or the attempt was made. Has happened at Massey Cul-de-sac. Another comment, who are the bandits, Tim? I need you to stress on parenting. Another comment, a nation that used to be deemed a praying nation, we run to the Gade instead of praying. Another comment in the chat room, when people get hungry and there's no employment, they will find a way to eat. Sad but true. Someone says, I am a farmer caller and it is so hard. We need to take to the streets and fight. Enough is enough. Another comment, the MP for Grosley was presenting some sanitary napkins to some young girls. As a man, I don't think he should be the one making the presentation. The young girls were embarrassed. Where are the ladies working with him? It would have been appropriate if it was a lady doing the presentation. Let me see what other comments in the chat room. Someone says, I've always said that Africa has the most resources and poverty is rampant. We had no bearing on these 2 Nobel laureates, just like we had no bearing on the successes of Julian Alfred. This government alone with a leadership like Philip Gipier tells you a lot about St. Lucians, and that's the truth. Another comment, crime. Some people say crime is all over, but implying it's okay. But it starts in government. There are many criminals in parliament, so how will they be able to curb the crime? The government hasn't done not one press conference to address the nation or the criminals. Someone says, Tim, when people get home after a hard day's work, they will go straight to bed or to sleep. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. Continue the capital project so that these young people can get employed. Sad state of affairs, SMH.
Still to come on the broadcast, KFC has found it necessary to implement price increases in menu items. You're watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page. We are also on YouTube, and you're listening on Power 97.9 FM.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's funeral home is here for you. Lazarus's private cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's private cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Introducing the new LuSelect Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From My Account to Streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, luselect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. LuSelect's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
Treat yourself to KFC's new Genius menu. Get your choice of one-piece chicken, corn, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, fries, and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, mac and cheese, and biscuit for just $11.50. Order now through WhatsApp at 484-0400
or visit our website kfcslu.com
or dine in at any one of our locations. Now that's a genius choice with unbeatable value. KFC, finger licking good.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Salu's gas station on the Mico Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Automotive Art is a place to start.
Automotive Art is now bigger and better with bargains galore. Automotive Art has expanded. With new exciting products and increased shopping comfort, we welcome you to visit. Celebrate with us and take advantage of our specials. New tires starting at $129, 25% off all tools and accessories, up to 75% off rims, BOGO specials, car care bundles, and other bargains galore. Automotive Art, bigger and better.
Get ready for the second annual Zouk a Blanc, presented to you by Project Chocolat. Saturday, 30th September from 7 p.m. featuring St. Lucia's #1 band, DYP. The always exciting Ezra, the Fun Machine, and our finest DJ, Hollywood HP, and DJ Shocking. Savor an evening of elegance, souk, and old school rhythms in the heart of Soufrière at Project Chocolat. Secure your tickets for just $80. Grab yours at any sell outlets island-wide or at Mambo's Bar in Soufrière. Tickets are also available online. Zouk a Blanc, a touch of white, where island vibes and cuisine meets pure sophistication.
Admission $100 at the door.
Something that is finger licking good is costing a whole lot more in your pockets. Now, from time to time, I'll treat myself to, Kentucky chicken or the corn or the chips and so on. I don't make it a habit to always consume that item, ever so often, but, every now and then. But we all know that so many people in this country, even on a Sunday, when normally you enjoy your Sunday meal with your family and you're at home relaxing and so on, so many people prefer to go to the various KFC outlets to purchase those items. And it's a very popular food item with many solutions. Well, it will come at it is coming now at an increased cost, and that's thanks, of course, to the government of St. Lucia. So there is this notice. KFC would like to inform its valued customers that as a result of the health and security levy introduced by the government of St. Lucia, as well as the continued rise in the cost of inputs, KFC has found it necessary to implement price increases in menu items. Customers will observe these price increases from September the 4th, 2023, and KFC goes on to apologize for the inconvenience caused. You know, the extra 2.5% is coming from your pocket, apologizing to you for that, and looks forward to continue serving its valued customers with what? Finger-licking good chicken. So this, you see, so it comes at an extra cost. You can't blame KFC for this, eh? But KFC, a compassionate company, apologizing for that. Now, health and security levy, the government says. Very soon from now, people will be asking the government for an update. How much money was collected? How much money did that levy or that tax generate? And why we continue to have a serious problem with crime? And why so many people cannot get medication at our various health institutions. What will be the response from the government? In particular, what will be the response from the health minister and the national security minister, respectively? Because if you collect in and you say you call it a health and security, certainly we would want for the results to be demonstrated as a result of this. Give us tangible evidence that the money you're collecting is redounding to the benefit of the people of this country as far as their health and security is concerned. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Kimani.
PJP said, no levy on food, think he is smart. Another comment, KFC is right, cook at your house. Someone responded saying the line does be outside. It's almost like St. Lucians don't have stores at their home. Another comment, BJP and his con army well fool y'all. St. Lucians really believe that all business establishment wasn't going to increase the price of their services and products after the 2.5% tax by your government. Someone says government needs to create more job opportunities for the youth so as to keep them occupied with making a living for themselves instead of committing crimes against each other. Why did BJP and his administration stop all the projects that were started under the last administration where several young persons were making a living?
I'll getting back to you in just a moment, but we have somebody calling from the United States. He was a guest on NewsSpin a few months ago, and that is Mr. Elwin St. Rose calling via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you, Mr. St. Rose. Hello. I think we have lost Mr. St. Rose there. Let's see if we can try again. Hello? Okay, so we lost Mr. St. Rose. I'm sure that he will be calling us momentarily, and we'll try to put him on the air. All right, we have a call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello?
Yes, good day, sir. How are you?
That's Mr. St. Rose. I'm okay. How about you?
I am doing very well. It's good to hear you. I've been watching you since the show started, and I am amazed and amused by a lot of the things that the different callers have been reporting.
And then that spurred you to call as a result?
Well, I had kind of decided to call. That's why I was actually watching. But I wanted to talk about just a couple of things.
Go right ahead.
You know, the last time we were together, we spoke about crime prevention. And it's almost a year, would you believe it? And the government of St. Lucia, like somebody pointed out, has not held one press conference, has not legislated one piece of legislation to even give the appearance or the impression that they are doing something about the crime situation in St. Lucia. To date, As of 30 August, we've had 60 homicides, and St. Lucia has now taken its place among the most criminal countries in the world, for want of a better word. St. Lucia is now ahead of Belize and Colombia at a rate of 28.62 per thousand individuals. This is just crazy stuff. And we are treating this crime thing as if it's a normal part of life. We compare ourselves to the U.S. and to developed countries, which is crazy. We are an island nation of 200,000 people. So there is, even if crime cannot be stopped, my brother, something has to be done. We have to see something. There has to be an approach, a strategy to fight this crime thing. And one other thing I want to say about the crime situation, the incident we had in Miku over the weekend, it appears that was a mental health situation. So in a multi-pronged approach to crime prevention, mental health must be part of that approach. The government has to invest in mental health. All of us want to get involved into politics, and we don't seem to understand the enormity of the responsibility we are undertaking when we decide to get at that level of leadership in the country. We appear to have a lot of people who are mentally unstable walking around, and they may very well be contributing to the very high crime rate we have in the country. So we have to have a multi-pronged approach. Somebody said earlier, we need to get more police officers. Of course we do. We need to have legislation. We need to have more police officers. We have to have a mental health component. We have to involve the NGOs into this strategy, the churches, the schools, the business sector. We have to do something else. Crime is going to become part of our beautiful nation that we all used to love so very much.
But Mr. St. Rose, this has already happened. This has already is an everyday thing in St. Lucia right now.
But Mr. Poleon, where is the government? Where is the government in all of this?
Let me tell you something. And to seek their support to get into office. Okay, that's the easiest thing for them to do. But they don't mindful of the responsibility that comes with that investment that people make in them as MPs, as government ministers. So if you're applying for a job, you get the job, you ought to deliver on that job. There are set criteria that will require you to perform. In most instances, people are assessed as they go along. I mean, you live and you have worked in the United States, in the U.S. Army. I'm sure that you'll be assessed periodically regarding your performance, because you must always perform at an optimum level. In the case of St. Lucia, politicians go, they canvass, they win a seat, they become part of a government, and after that, the easiest thing for them to do is to make excuses as to why they can't deliver.
Mr. Poleon, this is crazy stuff. And when I say crazy, I'm using crazy in the casual sense. But this is madness. We get into these positions. These are very important positions. And some of us have no business at all getting into it in the first place. Because the responsibility that you have when you are leading a nation at that level is just monumental. It is not a joke. It's not about money for my family. It's not about I have power. It's about solving problems. Good leaders solve problems. Bad leaders make excuses and they create more problems. What is happening in St. Lucia should make all of us very, very sad. And we as St. Lucians, like I said the last time I was with you, we have to demand better. We have to not just expect better, but we have to demand it. The members of parliament, the government of St. Lucia works for us. The government works for us, and we are to evaluate their performance, and we are to decide what we will accept and what we will not accept. The government is disappearing in the twilight while people are dying. I have not seen one press conference. I try to read the news all the time. I have not read in the news one single time since we had that crazy stuff in Viewfort, where the government has tried something to resolve crime and to prevent crime in St. Lucia. You are, like somebody said, we are not going to wipe out crime completely. That's embedded in our nature. But like you rightly said, we have to manage the situation. We cannot have escalation. And behavior that is reinforced is very likely to be repeated. That's what reinforcement in psychology is. When a behavior is affirmed, when a behavior is validated, when a behavior is reinforced, it is going to be repeated whether you like it or not. And as St. Lucians, we have to demand more, we have to expect more, and we, like the government, cannot disappear. We have to challenge our government to do more. We have to, this is a democracy. It's a government of the people, by the people, for the people, not for itself, for the people. The people must feel safe, the people must be protected, and whereas we cannot resolve every single crime situation in the country, but our people must see us at least doing something to try to bring resolution and prevention to the process of crime. And we are not doing it. And part of the blame will eventually land on our doorsteps because we have to demand more as the citizenry. We have to. This is crazy stuff. We have to. And everybody is so thin-skinned, cannot take a criticism. Well, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you go into public service at that level, you have to expect the accolades and you have to expect the criticisms. And everybody is just so thin-skinned about anything, cursing people all around the place and just talking as if we are ordinary people. We are leaders of a country, and we should be up at night thinking of what to do. Talking to other people, talking to our counterparts, talking to the people who have an idea on crime prevention. We should be doing everything we can to stop crime. We cannot condone crime. We cannot go along with crime. Who is the tail is wagging the dog? We cannot go along with crime because people decide to participate in criminal behavior, and the government is a disappearing act. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not hearing anything. And we are going right along with it. We are past 60. This is September, and we are about to break the record from last year. This brings a lot of pain to me, man. This is crazy stuff.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. Just there from a St. Lucian who is living in the United States. He was once part of the U.S. Army. His name is Mr. Elwin St. Rose. Over to you, Kimani, in the chat room.
Someone says the electorate has to make better choices in the leaders they choose. Another comment, the criminals are committing crimes only because they know they can get away with it. We need to hold these politicians personally responsible when they refuse to work on our behalf. It's disheartening. We have a joke as a PM. Imagine having to defend my small country to a Jamaican concerning crime. Tim, when they're out there, they cannot eat, but in prison they get 3 meals. Someone commented saying they made it too stressful to prefer a charge on an offender. Now police officers can't charge someone without a lawyer or JP present, so most police officers don't want to be sitting there waiting on a JP to show up to charge someone. In the past, all you needed was another police officer as a witness. Some more comments in the chat room. Someone says drug dealers are painted as heroes in St. Lucia nowadays. Another comment, someone says, love to all freedom fighters. Love, live St. Lucia.
We have a WhatsApp call. Hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim, and good afternoon to Kimani.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
And how are you doing, Mr. Tim?
I'm okay, sir. How about you?
Not too bad.
Okay.
Tim, I'm just calling to share an opinion on the crime situation in the island. Tim, I believe that our Prime Minister had a unique opportunity to show that he has zero tolerance where crime is concerned. Remember during the period of the campaign, one of his candidates had entered church and his gun had to be taken away from him. Remember that incident?
Yes, sir.
Yes. At that time, the Prime Minister should have really do something to that guy and show that he showed zero tolerance towards crime. He did not do that. What he did, he condoned the guy's behavior and he embraced it right? And I could remember he even said that if that guy did something, he apologized. If, use the word if, as to him, that's nothing to go in a church on a Saturday and disturb church service. Anyway, Tim, there is a saying, leaders must lead by example, not by force, right? And I think that the Prime Minister has shown that he has a lot of hatred in his heart towards the opposition. And we know that hatred is one of the main ingredients for crime. The Bible even says that before you have to kill somebody to commit murder, but if you hate somebody in your heart, you kill the person already. So I believe that the Prime Minister has to start leading by example. He has to do away with all the hatred he has in his heart and embrace the opposition to see how they can come together and fight the crime situation in this country. Because it's not good for our security, it's not good for our tourism, and it's not good for the country on the whole. So the Prime Minister needs to take the bull by the horn and show that he's a leader and stop behaving as though he's still the leader of the opposition. You have to understand that he's the Prime Minister and lead as a man that is serious and know what he's about. God bless you, Tim.
Same to you, sir. Thank you so much for calling. And let me see if I have a WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says, Tim, if you were to listen to how the health and security tax calculation is done, based on the explanation, we are now paying more VAT than before. An example is given that if a product or service costs $100, levy is applied at 2.5%, which is $2.50, which totals $102.50, and then VAT is added to that total, which is $12.81, making the overall total $115.31. Given this calculation, it means that if the tax were applied individually to the subtotal of $100 and then totaled, it will cost $115.31. While it may seem as a small increase, if you were to add up all these slight increases on products which are taxed for the health and security levy, we as citizens are essentially now paying an increase in VAT due to the added tax, which increases the subtotal, thus increasing the VAT as a direct consequence. So tell me, how does this help us? And struggling citizens will now have to find more funds to pay for products and services. Mr. Prime Minister, please explain. I don't blame KFC for the increases. Digicel also released a similar document, and I know other businesses will soon follow. Shaking my head. We have a call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim.
Hi, good afternoon, Rick.
Okay.
All right. How about you?
I try to stay on top of the temptations to be depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Depression doesn't serve any good.
It can be difficult, eh?
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Like what the gentleman said a while. Well, Mr. St. Rose is a joy to listen to him, by the way. He mentioned what happened in Miku. The cutlass thing, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And that's a mental thing. No matter how you look at it, it is mental. It's somebody losing it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't pay much attention to that, Tim. But those things that he pointed out, Tim, are so deeply rooted in our psyche. Tim, why is it you don't have any calls from the young or the old or the indifferent talking about how things, they experience things, they live long enough to experience things that they had not changed but gotten worse, or that they had gotten better, etc., etc. We don't get those kind of calls at all, do we?
No, we don't.
I heard a lady call you a while ago, and she said that politics was a calling. Remember that?
Yes. She called on Friday, and we played a part of her contribution today.
Oh,
we reproduced it.
Do you agree with that?
I agree.
I don't think it's all.
I think it is, because you see, you have to be selfless, Rick. Okay? So it is.
You're telling me what you have to be.
The norm is people get into politics. Let's say in the United States, they have a track record.
But that's
also those people invariably, they have some level of independence, so they're not relying on politics to survive.
But anyway, I get your point.
Now, for me, it is a calling where you take this personal interest, this personal desire to serve the people of a country.
The philosopher Cicero, that's BC, you know. In a letter to his brother who asked him some advice on going into politics, part of what he said was, you desperately need to learn the art of flattery. A disgraceful thing in normal life, but essential when you're running for office. If you use flattery to corrupt a man, there's no excuse for it. But if you apply ingratiation as a way to make political friends, it's acceptable. For a candidate must be a chameleon, adapting to each person he meets, changing his expression and speech as necessary. And it goes on to say, whatever you normally considered honorable, or any sense of honorable that you had in you, get rid of it. So you hear what the requirements are for being a successful politician. At bottom, you have to lie, you have to be a hypocrite, you have to make promises that you have no intention of keeping, and you also have to avoid people in between elections. That's by Cicero a long time ago, centuries ago, Tim.
Well, Rick, that is the norm, but I think we've had a few exceptions, not only in St. Lucia, but in the Caribbean, where people tell you outrightly that they're not making promises that they cannot fulfill. And those people,
the exceptions
very rare. People are very rare in that regard. I mean,
that is why I told you last week, Tim, that there's no such thing as who is a good prime minister. You have to begin with who is a good man, and based on his attributes and the things he does that impress you, etc., you elect this man to the position of prime minister. You see, that's the mistake we are making. We actually have elected people we know are ogres, and we tell ourselves maybe getting in office will reform them, and they get a lot of people who will, for their own personal convenience.
You don't think we just look past their indiscretions and believe that whatever good that's in them, the 10% that's good, they will use it and maximize it to the benefit of the people?
Tim, you heard what you just said, doesn't me?
Yes,
You are saying to me that a guy who you know is a nasty guy, he's involved in all kinds of nastiness, etc., cannot be trusted, he lies, there are reputational problems of all kinds of abuses, sexual and otherwise, etc., and you're going to tell me you will elect such a person in the hope that when he gets into office, there'll be some good coming out of him? Is that how you're advising people to
I'm not advising. I'm just being realistic and telling you that is the perception I have of some St. Lucian voters, that they look past the indiscretions of certain individuals and believe that at least 10% of them that is good, that is acceptable, etc., that they can use that to the benefit of the people.
And what do you think of that?
Of course this is wrong. Of course this is wrong.
I mean, that almost sounds stupid. That is almost, that sounds like retarded. That a guy you know reputationally and otherwise is unfit. You wouldn't want to marry your daughter. You wouldn't even invite him to dinner. You don't want to be in that person's company normally. But if a party puts him up, you will vote for him on the presumption that chances are he will reform to some extent and do some good for the people. I believe you are, well, I know you're right. That's general thinking in this country. I'll tell you something else as well that's worse. You know, the gentleman who talked a while ago, Mr. St. Rose, he mentioned the people, Tim, We must never underestimate the contributions of people to their own demise, you know. The matter of eating, how you eat, will be responsible, will be the cause of your illnesses, you know.
Yeah.
What you put in your body, what you put in your mind, that's what you're going to be, you know, Tim.
Eventually.
Okay, but we seem to play down the thinking, how people have been taught to think. We play down quality and standards of people, don't analyze anything. People come on your shows and you can tell they have never heard the phrase critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Christopher Hunt made very popular a phrase. What was it? Dissonance. What was it? What was the phrase again? I'm trying to remember it. And everybody, cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
Cognitive dissonance. You ask anybody what cognitive dissonance means when they call you, if you have, when next time they mention it, ask them what it means. But it was in everybody's word. Christopher is very good, you know. Give him credit. He's very, very good. Researches his stuff. But it sounds good to make we people. Mom, that's cognitive dissonance. Ask them what it means. Tim, the way people think, the way people allow themselves to think, the way people will debase themselves. Somebody said to me recently, in fact, that's twice in 1 week, Tim. I almost think it's a conspiracy. That my own personal achievements, such as they are, right, are of no consequence because they were achieved years ago. What do you think of that?
As far as some people are concerned?
The person told me that.
Oh.
Now, right away, it may have been jest, but there's two people in a week told me that. I think one may have been in jest. But right away, it explains why nobody gives a damn about Derek Walcott. Why nobody gives a damn. I mean, how is a person going to have what you called a track record? What are they going to have a track record on the day they apply for a job?
No.
Well, you have to know what you have done with your working life. Is Muhammad Ali useless and a non-entity because every picture you see of Muhammad Ali was taken in his prime and so on and so on and so on? Does that make any sense?
From the time you see the picture, you automatically will be hacking back to his exploits as a boxer.
That's his track record. You see, and you have champions of whatever field, different eras. They're all champions, exemplars, you know. But if you have allowed yourself to think for your own reason, that man, that's history, that dead already. Derek Organ wrote them books, man, long time ago, man. Derek, who care about that? Let's worry about now. You know, let's worry about now, of course. If we have a people where the higher echelon thinks and believes that, are we in trouble or not? So you see, Mr. Sandros was quite right when he placed emphasis on the people as well. The people are the ones who put the ogres in office. The people are the ones who keep people out of office, etc. My final thing, Jim, I said to you a few weeks ago that I was kind of uncomfortable that the UWP appears to have gotten a new mantra. St. Lucia is in trouble. You heard them saying that?
Yes.
Tim, how many years have I been saying that?
For what, a few decades now?
Good. So I hope nobody's going to think Rick Wynn sold that mantra, because that's the kind of thing. Rick Wynn is the one who told him to say that. It's a fact. We've been in trouble a long time because we refuse to recognize the fact that we were in trouble. You know. And Montoot last night made me laugh. Montoot, at least it's not the Vieneg talk. He said the Prime Minister says when he says things, they ridicule me, they ridicule me. I can't be ridiculed, but they ridicule me. And he said, Mr. Prime Minister, you are not being ridiculed, you are ridiculous. I thought there was a little wit in that. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much for calling. The broadcast will continue in just a moment with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Once again, you're watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page. And we are also on YouTube, and you're listening on Power 97.9 FM.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilec kaveti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone sala. Mi an ti commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Kouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pouet ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout zouti ou ka servi pas vini moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
Treat yourself to KFC's new Genius menu. Get your choice of one-piece chicken, corn and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, fries and biscuit, or one-piece chicken, mac and cheese and biscuit for just $11.50. Order now through WhatsApp at 484-0400
or visit our website kfcslu.com
or dine in at any one of our locations. Now that's a genius choice with unbeatable value. KFC, finger licking good.
The new home of the best country music is Power 97.9 FM.
Say the stars are bound to fade.
Switch us on Join Me, DJ Jerry, this and every Thursday from 8 p.m. to midnight for Country Gold, the best in country music.
Your bags are packed and waiting.
The new, the oldies, and the goldies. So let's make it a date. This and every Thursday with me, DJ Jerry, from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold. If it's Thursday, it's Country Gold Thursday. Country Gold, only on Power 97.9 FM.
I lead a rich, rewarding life.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
After a 3-year hiatus due to restrictions of COVID-19, the Sufra Fitness Center presents Fun Strikes 2023, our annual fan, health and fitness walk for the entire family. On Monday, October 2nd, starting at 5 a.m., we walk from the Sufra waterfront to Myers Bridge through Force Jack and back down to the Sufra Beach Park. Of course, the music motivation truck will keep you going and going. A $35 registration gives you a quality Drip Fit t-shirt, drinks, fruits, fresh coconuts, breakfast, and a chance to win big. What are you waiting for? Register, start, and finish to win over $10,000 worth of cash and raffle prizes. Register at the Sufra Fitness Center and other pop-up locations. Bring the entire family. Fun Strides 2023.
During a sitting of the St. Lucia House of Assembly tomorrow, the Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for finance will be seeking parliamentary approval to borrow $75 million from the Saudis, and that is to finance the rehabilitation of St. Jude. The Prime Minister led a delegation to the site of that project or the work that's taking place there in the south of the island. And this trip was made on the 6th of September, or the visit on the 6th of September. And the Prime Minister was given the assurance that the project will be delivered on time. And that came from Mr. Pawan Joshi of CIE, that is Construction and Industrial Equipment Limited. But the Prime Minister had a very interesting exchange with the CIE official.
Wow, that's a big change, man.
Yeah, there is a big change on this.
So you're going to give my hospital, Josie?
Yes, so we did. When we did the one in Domino.
Hospital?
Yes, we will definitely. It will be done. I am sure.
If you give my hospital, you're not trouble.
No. We'll definitely give it. We would not. Mr. Renu would not have started it if he could not finish it.
Please don't give my hospital. You're a lot of trouble with me. Wow, that's a big change, man.
Yeah, there is a big change on this.
So you're going to give my hospital, Josie?
Yes, so we did. When we did the one in Domino.
Hospital?
Yes, we will definitely. It will be done. I am sure.
If you give my hospital, you're not trouble.
No. We'll definitely give it. We would not. Mr. Renu would not have started it if he could not finish it.
Please don't give my hospital. You're a lot of trouble with me.
Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for finance, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, he knows that the danger that he'll be in politically if he does not deliver that project. But he has gotten the assurance from the CIE official that the hospital will be delivered. Kimani, what's in the chat room?
I believe there is a difference between being born and being made. We all have an innate gift. This is evident in different professions. This shapes one's attitude towards one's work. I have witnessed that in my life of work. One naturally loves what one does when it's one's callings. Their approach or outlook is very different. Another comment, maybe the next generation will be more educated and elect better leaders. Hopefully they will have the wisdom to not vote against their interest and to take to the streets when necessary. Someone says, let's all play our part to make St. Lucia a better place rather than playing the blame game.
Okay, we have a WhatsApp call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Tim?
Good afternoon.
All right. Tim, just some observations. I'm a young man from the community of Dennery, and I would just like to make some points on the road condition from Dennery, the Larissus Gap in Dennery, all the way to Fondor. Tim, there are some very, very huge craters on this road. And a few months ago, I saw that a few of these holes were being patched. But it seems as if the workers got to a certain point and the rest of the road was completely ignored. Tim, last night, I saw individuals on the side of the road where I know for a fact they went into that pothole and they got the tire blown. And I need the authorities to take a look at that particular stretch of road, especially about 100 meters from the Larissus Gap. There is a huge crater and it's dead center. You can't miss it, right? And if you're driving in the night, there's no lighting on that end of the road there. And that pothole is very, very much dangerous. A second point that I want to bring across, Tim, I want to ask you a question. Maybe I'm missing it. Is there a price attached to the completion of the St. Jude project?
No, the Prime Minister
Do we have that information already?
The Prime Minister has not said exactly how much of that $200 million will be utilized for the hospital. But he said the monies will be used for the health institution and also for the stadium.
So, Tim, don't you think, as the taxpayers of this country, we should know how much of this money is going to be used for the rehabilitation of the St. Jude project and for the National Stadium?
Naturally so, sir. Naturally so.
Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, Tim, how is it that you're able to secure a loan to complete a project and you cannot say to the public what the cost of that project is going to be? How is it that our Prime Minister is able to go ahead and do something like that and nobody is saying anything about it? It's like everybody's just silent.
What if the $200 million is too much?
Exactly. So that's what I'm asking. How do you now decide how much it is that you're going to borrow to complete the project if you do not have a costing for the project? How is it that the government was able to go ahead and secure a loan and have no estimation as to what the final costing is going to be? So what if it's going to cost more than the 200 million? Or what if it's going to cost way less?
Yeah.
Where does that excess money go to? What does it go towards?
Well, that's an issue the Prime Minister clearly should have addressed, but he was given the opportunity. I think on a few occasions, reporters did pose that question to him, but he just would not provide them or furnish them with a response. But I think it's a concern that's legitimate on your part, and I think it has been raised as well by a number of callers to this program. The $200 million, what amount will be utilized for St. Jude Hospital, and what amount will be utilized for renovations at the George Odlum Stadium? So we don't know the specifics.
Exactly, Tim.
Yeah.
I think I think that we're dealing with a transparency issue with this government. We get information, we get parts and bits of it, what they want us to know, and then we get nothing else. And it's like everybody's okay with that. Another thing that I also want to touch on, Tim, what is happening with the youth economy? I don't hear anything about the youth economy. What is the latest with the youth economy?
Well, from time to time, I do hear of reports that monies would have been provided to a number of people for certain projects. I've been hearing a couple of reports to that extent.
All right, Tim. So maybe later on down the line, you would be able to give us a more comprehensive.
Yes, I might just invite somebody from the entity that's responsible for that initiative, maybe Terry Finisterre, who is the communications officer there, at some point in time, so that we could speak on this issue, so that he could address those various concerns that you might have or questions that you might have.
All right, lastly, Tim, I'm going back to the road situation, because that is one that is very, very troubling to me.
I think most
as a young man using the road, I think it's very unbearable. In the community of Gadet in Dennery, we've had this situation where the roads are in a deplorable state, and I foresee that the bus drivers will soon be telling passengers, you know what, we're not going up to Gadet in Dennery. And this road has been neglected it's been a few years and nothing has been done on this road, and it has been a solid road, but now it has given up, and the majority of the road is plagued with potholes. And we're just asking that the powers that be lend some attention to Gadet, whatever it may be. I see that they're placing some stones, they're putting some stones in the pothole along the Larishu stretch. So if they could do the same in Gadet, we would really much appreciate it. I mean, that's not the ideal thing that we're looking for, but if they could do anything about it, then we would really appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. And it was only on Sunday during a town hall meeting at the St. Isidore Hall over in Soufrière. The former Prime Minister of St. Lucia, is also the MP for Mico South, spoke on St. Jude Hospital, but also he spoke on the state of the Millennium Highway. And Mr. Producer, that is Mr. Alan Chastain. Let's hear from him right now.
You can't even finish a road at Millennium Heights. Have you all driven on that road to see what's going on there? Who he wants to blame? As Guy said, there's no way under United Workers' Party that we would allow a Trinidadian firm to come to St. Lucia and do that work that St. Lucians can do. No way! And if we had any pride in this country, we would all go up and line up on the streets and prevent them from moving their machines to come and do the work that St. Lucians can do. But probably one of the saddest stories in St. Lucia is St. Jude's. the Labour Party criticized us, crucified us, because we said it was going to cost over $100 million to finish the hospital. Remember that? Yeah. And they said, oh, it's only going to cost $10 million in some chemical and some paint. Well, they've been in for 2.5 years. Why have they not put in the paint and the chemical and moved in? Because they cannot. And so here it is, we've spent $140 million on building a world-class hospital building. And all it would take is $50 million more and 6 months, and we could move into the ground floor of that building. 90 beds. They are now going to come to the house on Tuesday to borrow money from the Saudi Arabians to spend $200 million on a old but new hospital. How does that make any sense? How does that make sense? A world-class hospital with a world-class airport, with a world-class seaport, a world-class horse racing track, a world-class tourism destination was going into view for it, and they have killed it.
Political leader of the opposition United Workers Party MP for Miku South, Mr. Alan Chasney, speaking on Sunday during a town hall meeting at St. Isidore Hall over in Soufrière. Any more final comments from the chat room, Kimani?
Nope.
No, nothing at all? Okay.
They are giving the contract a blank check. Someone says Sean Edward has been speaking about this road over and over when in opposition, and this road is down to be done. Another comment. King, I hope you are hearing. Fix the road. Let me see what else we have.
All right, somebody has a WhatsApp message. Somebody says, I do not understand. Apparently in St. Lucia is how students are dressed that makes them learn. The former principal of SMC is now principal of Patricia D. James Secondary, and he come with the same nonsense about hair covering. My son has his hair from primary school. He's now in 5th form, and this so-called new principal looking for trouble. There's never been. All right, let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says there, Tim, just like the doctors who have private practice giving back 6 hours to the community, going to the health centers, I think the lawyers and the police officers should go to the secondary schools and have classes with the Form 5 students just before what the CXC exams teach the kids about the law or laws of the land, the penalties for disobeying the laws of the land, etc. By the way, I've never seen any lawyer give back anything back to the communities. Are they profiting on the crimes of the land? And let me see if I have some more WhatsApp messages to go through. Somebody says there, good afternoon, Tim. I hope that Rick doesn't think that Cicero was right in his definition of what a politician should be. History is littered with people-centered politicians who did not fit his definition. Another one. Why people want to blame the government for crime? Blame fathers and mothers. The young generation don't want to work because of what they need. Fast money. And another one says there, the incident in Miku was not a matter of mental illness due to the severity of the harm inflicted on the deceased. It was simply a premeditated act. Now, there's an incident which occurred, I think it's over the weekend. Some individual decided to tie a horse on a highway, or next to a highway, and the rope was long enough so that the horse could venture onto the road. And so vehicular traffic would have been impeded. Some motorists had to swerve to avoid hitting the horse. And there's somebody who has a video, WhatsApp video in circulation. And let us just watch and listen. It's Mr. Callistus Jean-Louis who prepared that video over the weekend. And that horse was tied in the very close to the Dennery fire station. Let's hear from him right now.
People, look at this Dennery by the fire station. someone tied their horse in the road. Okay? And the only reason people will do that is because they know there's lawlessness on the road. They know infrastructure will do nothing about it. They know the people who are responsible for doing something about these things, nothing will happen. I've seen it happen at Union, where a guy tied his horse in the road like that. And about 6:30 in the evening, a minibus entered the horse, and the horse died. That was about 3 years ago. Okay? Look at this. Look at this. And I'm just saying to you, when will we get it right on the road? If not a weed eater, if it's not Wasco, if it's not those concrete mixer trucks, if it's not those cows by Union, and these are things infrastructure and other government officials are seeing every day. And what we do, look at that. We do nothing about it. And I can guarantee you, nothing will be done about that, because I've driven down this way and I've seen sheep, I've seen cows, I've seen other animals tied in the road that way. That's not the first time, and that will not be the last time it will be happening. And I'm putting it to you, if the people of St. Lucia stay and do nothing, allow potholing, substandard roads to be built, allow weed eaters to be on the road without any protective shields, okay? Allow the concrete mixer trucks to just drop their stuff all across St. Lucia. And up to now, nothing is being done. I'm taking it and I'm letting you, the people of St. Lucia, to be the judge. I mean, it is just unbelievable. Look at this, next to the fire service, you know. And look, the fire service thing just there, Denry. Okay? And nothing will be done.
Calista Jean-Louis protesting there, expressing his concerns with regard to a horse being tied close to a highway that's in the vicinity of the Denry fire station. Some responses: don't laugh, Jesus watching y'all. Another person says they should tie more horses there. Is this on the highway? Because, I mean, this is just a joke. You can't blame people for saying they should tie more horses there, because it's happening all over the place. My good friend, he has cattle after cattle upon cattle in the Shock area. I mean, no government minister, no MP wants to do anything about it. And what people will say, don't blame the government. So what we should do, go out there and just hack them to death, you know, kill them. That's what we should do as citizens if it is impacting us. And several decades ago, somebody crashed into a horse in the Shock area. Okay? I think the person died, a motorcyclist. He died. And I said, wow, finally, somebody will do something about this situation. Several decades later, nothing. Well, that's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube as well as on our NewsSpin Facebook page. And thank you as well for listening on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast will be back, God willing, tomorrow afternoon, 12:30. This is NewsSpin right here on Power 97.9. Signing off. Goodbye.